Name's Tammy. Welcome to this video. This video is very important. I'm not very experienced in making videos yet, so if I say a lot or please forgive me. Okay. So first of all, the first thing to know is energy is everything, and everything is energy. You are the creator of your experience. You are the creator of your reality. Your thoughts, words, beliefs all go out. They are all energy. And they're like a magnet, and they come back to you like a boomerang. Okay, so anything you're putting out will more than likely come back. Especially the more you put it out, the more it's going to come back to you. The stronger it gets. Okay. So what do you think of most of the time? Especially, like, what do you think of about yourself? Okay, are you putting out thoughts? Are you putting thoughts out there about yourself that you're not good enough, you're poor, you're not worthy, you're trapped, you're not pretty enough, you're the victim, you're always the victim of something, or it's always somebody's fault. You're always playing the victim, okay? And I don't mean that to say that you haven't been a victim of something that somebody's done to you, but I'm just saying, what are your constant thoughts, okay? Like if you are constantly in that mind frame is what I'm talking about, okay? Okay, versus are you putting out there how blessed you are, how worthy you are, that you're free, that you're abundant, that you are good enough, that you are valuable, that you're beautiful, that you're handsome, that your life is filled with love and joy. See how those are a completely different set of thought forms? So these thoughts create, they get put out to, we'll call it the universe. They get put out to the universe, and depending on your belief, your subconscious belief, they can create your reality. So your subconscious is all these stories that you tell yourself. And when you tell yourself something enough, you start to believe it. So say you tell yourself enough all the time, you're always, in fact, I don't even want to sit there and say it because I'm not trying to put it out there. But if you sit and tell yourself all the time that you're stupid, or you're dumb, or you're not good enough, or you're ugly, or all these things, whatever story it is that you're telling yourself, you tell it enough, you'll put it in your subconscious belief system, and it becomes a core belief. Now you may not realize that consciously, on a conscious level, but your core belief, you've set your core belief, and you could have done this as a child. This is very common. So as a child, maybe your parents or somebody in your life made you feel not good enough, and you didn't have any better or stronger belief to change that. So you put that file in your folder, basically in your subconscious folder, that you're not good enough, or that you're not worthy of love. Very common. You're not worthy of love. you didn't feel loved by your parents. And so you've grown up with feelings of unworthiness. And even though you may think that you're worthy, you've grown up with a deep core belief that you're not. So on a subconscious level, you do not feel worthy of love. We're using that as an example. On a conscious level, maybe you think that you are, or whatever, but you're always attracting experiences that show you otherwise. This will typically start showing up in, say, school. You're attracting situations that where maybe you're picked on or bullied. In relationships or other more things with your parents and family that will add to the not being worthy. Say, just, I don't know. So when you grow up and you get in a relationship, everything's probably fine and dandy at first, but then once you're in the relationship, you will start seeing situations and having experiences that show you that you're not worthy. It will play out in your reality, because your reality is a reflection of you. So you are a projector, and your reality is the movie screen. It's what is going on inside your subconscious belief system. Okay? So in relationships, it'll be great at first. Typically, they usually are. That's how you get into the relationship. And then a little while, a couple months into the relationship, or maybe even a year or more into the relationship, they will start showing you that you're not worthy or that you're not good enough. They'll keep doing things to just reinforce that into you. Like, for me personally, it was, I am not pretty enough, or my body is not beautiful enough. And that would just constantly be reinforced in all of my relationships until I recognized the pattern and learned about how reality works and about your conscious and subconscious beliefs, which for me played out in my partners having addictions to pornography, which added to that. My body was not attractive. I am not attractive enough. I would have jealousy issues. They would do things that would produce jealousy within me that basically my reality was reinforcing to me my core beliefs about myself, that I was not worthy, I was not good enough, I was not pretty enough. And until you examine your core beliefs and your reality and all these things that have happened in your life, you won't even know. You think that life is happening to you. But no, life is happening for you, which we'll get into that later, okay? Let's go on to the next one. Let's see. Okay. This is an example of energy and how energy works. This is something that I made up, and So, for instance, say you are vibrating at this right here. See my mouse? Say you are vibrating at...
Okay, I found this on the web for your vibrating. Check it out.
Alright, let's start all over. Okay, so here's an example of energy. This is just to give you kind of an illustration. This is not the exact science of it, but something I drew up to give you an illustration. Okay. So, everybody is energy, okay? Energy is both light and it is consciousness. Now, when I say consciousness, do not confuse consciousness with a brain. Consciousness is not the brain. Consciousness is not thinking. Okay, consciousness is awareness. Okay, it is awareness and observation. The brain is more of a processor. It processes the information, okay? So, if you can see my mouse down here, towards the bottom circling around, say you are vibrating at this level of energy right here, okay? This is on kind of, here's the kind of midpoint of the frequencies, okay? Everything below this frequency is kind of on a lower vibration. Everything above this line is towards the higher vibration. Okay, the average human being on Earth right now, it is January 2024 right now. Okay, the average human being is vibrating below this line, okay? They are stuck in their lower three chakras. Anyway, so the average person is living below this line, okay? All right, with that in mind, say you are vibrating. This is your core frequency, okay? We have a core frequency that we're vibrating at. And then we have a range that kind of goes up and down throughout our day based on our emotions and our interactions and our thoughts and beliefs and all this, okay? So, by the way, these are also what helps adjust and raise or lower our frequency. So, if you're vibrating right here, this is one thing to consider. You will more than likely, you will be basically hanging around like your friends and the people closest to you in your life that you see on a regular basis or hang out with and spend most of your time with are going to be vibrating very similarly to you. I mean, some may be higher, some may be lower, but they're all going to be within, say you're right here, you're going to be vibrating within this area. Everybody you see and hang out with on a regular basis is going to be vibrating within a certain range of your vibration. Okay? Because you cannot perceive that which you are not a vibration, that you are not a vibrational match of. Okay? So, something up here, say something up here, vibrating right here, you can maybe see it with your visual eyes, but it will not be in your main life, okay? Say maybe Aunt Martha. Aunt Martha's up here, okay? You're aware of Aunt Martha. You know who she is, but you hardly ever see her. Maybe you see her, once a year at a family reunion, okay? Same with the information. If you're vibrating right here, you will not be able to perceive any information or knowledge that is of this level of energy, of this frequency, okay? It's actually, if you turn this sideways and turn it in, well, you don't even have to turn it sideways. Imagine this as a radio dial. Okay, in order to tune into something, you have to change the station, okay? So your frequency is the station. So if you want to tune into higher frequencies, you have to change the station, which means you have to change your station, what you are tuned into, okay? So this is why there are people out there that can basically tune into the non-physical, metaphysics. There are people who can perceive things like extraterrestrials, angels. So most of the time, angels are very super high frequency, not all of them. The average person cannot perceive this. Most extraterrestrials are very high frequency. Definitely not all of them. There are some of very low frequency. Okay? But the average person cannot perceive. A lot of people are still at the point where they cannot even perceive that extraterrestrials exist, because they are still located in these lower frequencies. That information is above their frequency. Okay? Once you get to this middle frequency, that's where you start going into your heart chakra. These frequencies down here are like sex, power, survival. Those are the lower frequencies down here, and we're all kind of mostly been trapped in these, but it's not our fault. We live in a system where there's a 1% who basically intentionally keep us trapped in this 1%. That's their intention anyways, but we are currently going through a shift right now, which is to pull us out of these frequencies so that we can raise our vibration, because the earth itself is raising its frequency. And if we want to stay on this planet, you have to raise your frequency. Otherwise, if you're not making the conscious or unconscious choice to raise your frequency, you will eventually cross over, pass away, because you will no longer be able to exist within the higher frequencies if you're not raising your frequency. So don't worry, if you're new to all this, everybody has the opportunity, but not everybody will make the choice, okay? It's kind of like a graduation, okay? Well, it is a graduation of Earth. So not everybody's going to graduate, but everybody will have the opportunity, okay? So let's see here. Here's an example too, like, of, how they say birds of the same feather flock together. It's really true, because literally you're all in the same energetic frequency, or within a specific range anyways, okay? These lower frequencies are also separation mentality, lower consciousness, darkness, okay? Things that hold you in fear, separation consciousness, fear, anger, greed, addictions. Now, let me tell you though, just because you have an addiction doesn't make you a bad person though. It's just you have been held in lower frequency, okay? Things that hold you in separation mentality are politics, resonating with politics, and organized religion, There are other things too that they throw out there. Our governments and the powers that be that control our governments. Believe me, our governments are not really in control. They're more or less puppets. But there are entities within our government that the average person is not aware of. A lot of these secret programs within our government that trillions of dollars go towards very dark shit, okay? Very dark stuff. And when you start awakening, you start learning about all this stuff that's been hidden from you. And when I use the words awakened, woke, I try not to use woke anymore because they basically hijacked that term from the spiritual community. So now it's a political term basically that's been hijacked from the spiritual community. So I try to use awakened instead. Because politics, no part of politics is awakened or woke, okay? No part of it. All right. Let's see. So basically, if you don't become awakened or truly woke, okay, until you've made it up into the heart and you've opened your heart chakra, okay? And in order to do that, you have to unprogram all the dark stuff. Basically, it's you're being purified. So the biblical term would be to be purified. No unclean thing will be allowed in the kingdom of heaven, okay? Up here is the kingdom of heaven. Okay? There's also New Earth, the kingdom of heaven, the Garden of Eden. Okay, these are all the same terms. And they all require the highest vibration to be there. And in order to do that, you have to heal traumas, shadows, old past things. You have to learn to live in the now. Anyways, it's a whole nother video, but for now, to make this easier, we'll just stick with the basics, okay? So to move up and down the scale of frequency, this all has to do with making choices. You make choices, you have free will. You choose what you believe, you choose what you think, or you'll be given thoughts, and depending on those thoughts, because believe it or not, your mind doesn't actually create these thoughts. You're handed thoughts basically on the frequency you're vibrating at. That's why you'll see people who have come up with an idea for an invention, and within a very short amount of time, they'll see somebody else had come up with that exact same invention. This is because it was thrown out there for people to grab, but only certain people reached that with their consciousness and grabbed onto those ideas or thoughts, okay? And then only one person or a small percentage of them took action on those, okay? So that's kind of how that works. That's just one analogy for it, okay? And then here's another thing. You will never be able to get information. If you are not seeking truth, you will never find truth, because you already think you know truth. You will not receive anything that you have not earned. So you have to actually, have you ever heard the expression from the Bible, knock and you shall knock and the door shall be open for you, or ask and you shall receive, okay? You have to seek for the truth and the information, and it can take years if you're not seeking continuously. So like people who are stuck in organized religion, they're not seeking typically, so they will not receive anything above that. All right. Okay, so this up here is basically, when you've reached this area up here, you're basically at this point pretty enlightened person. Okay. Now, along with this scale, I'm going to show you this right here. Here's frequency in your emotions. Okay. See right here where I've shown you with the heart chakra, this is basically about the neutrality point, okay? Everything down here is lower frequency. These are lower emotions too. Shame, fear, grief, anger, guilt, desire, okay? Courage is approaching neutrality, okay? And then once you get up into love, joy, peace, then you have enlightenment, okay? When you get up to here, acceptance, and you'll kind of go up and down, just like how I was explaining on the past slide, where you have kind of a core frequency, but you'll kind of vibrate up and down a little bit throughout the day depending on your emotions. That's still the case here, where you can go from anger to neutrality to fear to willingness, all within one day, right? But you're gonna kind of have a core thing. Once you start the awakening path, you slowly, gradually start climbing up and climbing up and climbing up and climbing up, and then until eventually you have the opportunity to reach enlightenment if you so choose to. Now, also, let me point this out to you. The lower the frequency, the more constricted your mind is. And your heart, okay? So that's another reason why this separation mentality is meant to keep everybody in these lower frequencies, because the powers that be do not want people to expand their consciousness and to heal and be healthy. Because once you do, they have no control over you anymore, okay? They cannot profit off of you anymore. They have no control over you anymore. All right. Also, let's see here. So, if you can see my cursor here, see how it's just a little bit right here, and see how when it goes up, it starts going up, it's expanding, 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 expanding. It's just small right here, not very wide, and as you go up, it's a lot wider up here than it is down here. Okay, that's your consciousness expanding and your heart expanding, okay? So when you're down here in the confines of religion and identifying with political parties that hold you in separation, hate, anger, frustration, all these things, you're holding yourself literally into lower consciousness, lower frequencies. This would probably trigger a lot of people who are still identifying with religion and politics, and that's okay. You're going to have to be triggered in order to see things, okay? In fact, most of the time, there is no awakening while you're in your comfort zone, okay? We go through trials and tribulations to learn and grow from them, and there is no growth in your comfort zone. And unfortunately, this year is going to get pretty rough for some people. This is going to be a huge year for awakening and expansion. But in order for that to happen, it's going to get pretty ridiculous in some areas of our lives. It's not always easy to see, but sometimes it's necessary for growth. Alright, so you see up here, the enlightenment part, it's completely expanded. Very open, okay? Open heart, open. This is unconditional love, okay? Unconditional love. Oneness mindset. Oneness mentality. We know that separation is an illusion. Okay, let's go on to the next. Here's kind of a similar thing. You know, it's tiny here and it expands as you go up. Here's the lower chakras, and we go up and we get to the heart chakra right here. Down here, you're very constricted in your thoughts and your perceptions and what's going on, and you think everything is done to you. Okay? This what holds you into victim mentality. Okay, as you awaken, you expand a little bit more, and then once you start learning how things are working, then you think things are done by you. Okay, you start learning about the law of attraction and the law of vibration, which is very exciting, very expansive. Okay. And then, as you expand up here, you learn that things are done through you. Through you. Not by you, but through you, through God. Alright, and then up here, things are done as me. Okay, your oneness with all.